Banteay Samre, or Banteay Samre, is perhaps one of the most beautiful of the smaller ancient temple sites, almost rivaling the popular Banteay Samre site. It was built in the early 11th century as a Hindu temple under the reign of King Suryavarman II, reign 1113, c. 1150 AD, and later completed by King Yasovarman II, reign 1160 to 1166 AD, in the early 12th century. It is located about 10 kilometers to the northeast of Angkor Wat and near the eastern edge of the ancient East Banteay. Visiting Banteay Samre. Being outside the main temple circuits, sadly this site is often overlooked, while it is actually one of the more beautiful sites, featuring impressive lintels and holding on to much of the ornate decorative features adorning the vestibules and shrines. It is one of the very special sites in Angkor to which you can return many times to admire the reliefs of the frontons while continually noticing new art hidden among the pilasters and base molding. The eastern causeway and entrance are the most impressive, while on the western side you can walk for around 500 m along the dirt trail and see remnants of a stone causeway that leads to the edge of the now dry East Banteay. The highlights of the site are numerous and include the well-preserved bas-reliefs on the frontons, tympanum/pediments, and lintels, plus the remains of the ancient sarcophagus. If time permits or multiple visits are an option, look around the pilasters and base molding for hidden characters from the Hindu pantheon. The site is open from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and an Angkor pass is required. You can spend at least an hour here and more if you explore the two causeways. There is parking at the front of the site at the eastern entrance, along with toilets and drink stalls. Getting there, it is sealed roads all the way to the site, and you can go by car, tuk-tuk, moto, or bike. It's about 30 minutes travel time one way by car/tuk-tuk/moto from the Siem Reap city center. To the north of here are Krol Romias and Prazit 2. Site layout. While the main entrance for visitors is from the northern entrance, the traditional entrance is from the east, where you can see the ruins of a stunning 300 m raised balustrade terrace and causeway, which is adorned with stone lions on its main cruciform. The base molding of this cruciform terrace is as ornate as the temple itself. This was flanked by two ponds today hidden in the surrounding forest. The site is surrounded by an enclosure wall with entry gopras at each cardinal point. After which, you are met with a courtyard that may have acted as the moat that is followed by the inner galleried enclosure. Inside, a causeway joins the enclosure to the hall, or mandapa, leading to the main shrine. The main shrine is flanked on its eastern side by two stunningly ornate libraries. Out from the west entrance, you can follow a trail that has remnants of the 500 m long bollard causeway that led to the East Banteay. Frontons on the outer gopra, entry. North gopra, northern side, is the fight between Rama and Ravana, each mounted on his war chariot, surrounded by monkeys and asuras. On the North Gopra, southern side, is the charge of the monkeys under the command of Rama, mounted on Hanuman, and Lakshmana, on Angatha. On the South Gopra, northern side, the construction by the monkeys of the causeway in rocks that is to enable them to attack the island of Lanka, and, on the half-fronton to the right, Vishnu holding an asura by the hair. On the South Gopra, southern side, Hanuman carries the summit of Mount Kailasa, whose magic plants will serve to revive them, to Rama and Lakshmana who have been wounded by Indrajit. On the West Gopura, western side, the ferocious battle between the monkeys and the Rakshasas and, on the eastern side, Vishnu overcoming two Asuras whom he is holding by the chignon, with, on the half front and to the right, a line of gods on their mounts, Vishnu with 4 arms on a lion, Skanda, the god of war, with 10 arms and multiple heads, on a peacock, and Yama, the god of the dead, on a buffalo. Pediments and lintels inside the second enclosure. On the East Gopura, east side, the lintel over the secondary southern entrance, Krishna wrestling with the serpent Kaliya, with its fronton showing the churning of the ocean presided over by Brahma and, above the northern entrance, the apotheosis of Vishnu on Garuda. On the west side Vishnu Trivikrama astride the world, south entrance, Krishna raising the Mount Govardhana, north entrance, and the aerial attack of Indra by the Rakshasas, middle vestibule. On the central sanctuary, the 4 lintels, almost intact and highly accentuated in relief, the southern of which shows, above a head of Kala, Vishnu with 4 arms overcoming 2 figures whom he holds by the hair, a motif which is repeated many times in the temple. On the North Gopura, southern side, a panel of apsaras dancing to the sound of a harp, and Shiva and Uma on Nandan. On the West Gopura, the conjunction of the sun and the moon, east side, and a line of divinities on strange mounts, west side. On the North Library, western side, the birth of Brahma carried by a lotus, whose stem grows from Vishnu's navel as he reclines on a serpent. Credit for bas-relief descriptions, Maurice Glaze, Angkor. History and restoration works. As mentioned, the site was constructed in the mid-12th century by King Suryavarman II, reign 1113 to 1150, with it being dedicated to Vishnu and built in the style of Angkor Wat. Researchers have noted the differing art styles in places, which is consistent with the belief that the site was later completed by King Yasovarman II, reign 1150 to 1160. An inscribed consecration stele was never found, nor were any inscriptions to provide exact dates or the original name of the site. Speculation abounds about whose actual sarcophagus it may be that we see occupying the hall of the central shrine. As for the site's name, a name adopted by the French. Also noting there is local folklore surrounding this site about a villager who mistakenly killed the king, and after being chosen by the auspicious white elephant, he would then become the king himself. Noting that a similar tale is told in other parts of Southeast Asia. The first concise report on the site comes from Lunat de la Jonquière in the very early 1900s, where he would note Banteay Samre, the citadel of the Samra, an aboriginal tribe living in Kulin about 20 kilometers to the east, along with recording the site layout, condition, and noting the reliefs. In 1936, the French began clearance of the site and restoration works began, starting with the eastern terrace. In 1938, they reconstructed the South Library, and in 1939 carried out reconstruction of the central shrine and its entrance hall, which was completed in 1940. Work then started on the reconstruction of the Western Gopura and the first enclosure wall. A jewelry mold and decorated bowl were also found at the site during these works. In 1942, they moved on to restoring the western gopra of the second enclosure. Via per C/Bfio. Between 2015 and 2021, Apsara carried out restoration work